Hi everybody and welcome to the coaching conference here at CIPD. I'm halfway through chairing today's event and I want to share with you 4 things I've learned so far, and we've been thinking about optimal performance and coaching and how the two go together. So our first presentation was from an ex-international cricket player, and he talked about the idea of stress and coping and how we have to find that harmony, if you like, between stress on the one hand and our coping mechanisms on the other. So that was a really great presentation, loads of identity, and do some great work, and obviously making the connections between sport and the corporate world as well. So some really great stuff there, and how we can find our, be at our personal best, which was great. Our second presentation was a case study from a global organisation, and what was really interesting there in terms of how we work with optimal performance and flow is that some of the initiatives were focused on the senior team, and actually they didn't quite go to plan. So there was the whole sense that it had to not just be a top-down approach to being our very best, but also a bottom-up, which was really essential. So that was quite interesting. Our third presentation was actually around well-being and optimal performance, and thinking for me about health and safety. And it was really interesting that when we use those words, particularly in the UK context anyway, health and safety, we really think about it being safety focused. And actually the H word is getting much bigger, and the Health and Safety Act is a mere 42 years old now, and finally we're starting to see the differences between safety and health kicking in a little bit more. And I liked his phrase. He said well-being isn't just about a pint of water and a banana. So that was quite interesting. And the last one we looked at an organisation around coaching cultures. And what I was drawn from that session was that maybe something I've taken for granted a little bit is if you're going to develop a coaching culture, which is great, and a well-meaning strategy, or culture of leadership or optimal performance, whatever it might be, is to think yes around the culture work and yes around the coaching in this sense, but which comes first? Is there a starting point? Do you need to do work mainly with your culture before you can bring in coaching and optimal performance, or do you start with the coaching if in terms of your culture can be informed the other way? So some really good questions there. So mainly about being in the zone, about stress and coping. Is it top down? Is it bottom up? Does it really matter? Where do you kind of focus your intentions there? The idea of well-being, again, it varies in terms of what we call it, and that idea around health, and certainly around culture. And we know that culture eats strategy for breakfast, so it's a really important stuff to think about. So those are my musings from today's CIPD coaching conference here in London.